Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing for as long as we possibly can. Where did my headphones go? Right there. Welcome to the stream, guys. Sorry for the delay. Oh, thank you so much for the bits, Sergeant Nowak. 95 bits for cheer. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. So, today we are going to be doing some nails, or making some nails. Now I made some modifications to our nail header, and now we have a bigger a nail header like hole. And so I've got a bigger piece of stock that we're going to start with. I want to I'm planning on making a few nails to kind of practice the technique. And then we'll start making some smaller and some bigger nails at the same time. So at least that's the plan for today. We are going to spend all day making nails. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Evening. Is this a gold club? I don't know. Is it a gold club? Oh. Dropping things. I don't know. Is there a gold club? So, I apologize for being a half an hour late. What happened was, I had my receiver for the microphone charging in the case, because the case charges, and I had it there for 2 days and it didn't charge and it depleted completely. So I had to attempt to charge it. It is about halfway done charging, and I think that I'm trying to I have it in its charging case, so maybe it'll stay alive for a little bit longer. Good afternoon, Corwin. There is the lady doing her nails on Twitch. Yes, these nails. Except we're not doing those kind of nails. We're doing like blacksmith nails, like these kind of nails. Today's project is nails, like hammers and nails. But, I had to take the opportunity to, nails and nails, right? These type and these type. So, because we are doing nails, and they're kind of small, I think what's actually going to happen, I'm going to start attempting to do everything here in the Hardy and the Pritchell. If it's not enough space, we will be moving the hot cut over to the post vise. Because I'm trying to do these fast. What we're probably going to do is we're going to picture-in-picture the close-up into the bottom of the screen. And if you guys think that's all right, we'll keep it that way. Otherwise, I can change the camera views if you would prefer that. I don't even have my apron on today. Wow. All right, let's do that real fast. I am a little bit discombobulated today, I think, because we're half an hour late. I apologize if there was popping or weirdness. Normally, I put my apron on before I unmute myself. What do I got? If you hammer enough on fingernails, they will become black. Therefore, it's called blacksmithing. Exactly. I cannot tell you how many times I've lost nails in my life. Some have been fingernails, some have been toenails. I think I've lost more toenails than fingernails, to be quite honest. So I had a lot of trouble working with this piece of stock. It was pretty small. So I went to the hardware store and picked up this larger piece of stock. This is a 1/4 inch piece of, no, it's a 5/16 piece of stock. And so I put a 1/4 inch hole into the nail header. So I would say that this is somewhere around the centimeter, maybe a little smaller than a centimeter in diameter. We are currently on ad time. Let me do the math real fast while I'm in ad time. What is the math? It helps when you put your password into the thing correctly. 5/16 inch. That's what I want. That's what I want. 8 millimeters. Yes, that's what I just saw. It's 8 millimeters. And then what'd I do? Okay. So the hole is 6.35 millimeters. And the piece of stock is about 8 millimeters. So we're going to start by making some, what was that number again? no. Goodness gracious. 6.35 millimeter nails. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to start up the mailbox. So we can start making nails, and you can start giggling because I think I'm gonna do really bad the first few. Come on. It helps when you actually have gas going. Alrighty. A little bit too stay. Still a little bit too close, so we're gonna pull it back a little bit. Because this piece is pretty long, so it's not wanting to stick in there. Alrighty. I'll put the other one in there a little bit later. I just got done drawing a 10 millimeter round rod down to most likely 8 millimeter square, eventually getting it down to 5 millimeter once I stop sweating. I mean, if you're sweating, you should definitely take a break and hydrate. Make sure you keep hydrated. At some point, I understood why most common plug for headphones is 6.3 millimeter jack plug. Odd size. Well, it is a 1/4 inch. Yes. 1/4 inch is a very common size here in the US. And we have this tendency to, force people to use our measurements for our products, and oftentimes our products get exported other places as well. All right, I need to turn on my record function. So today it is super, super hot. We're back in the 90s Fahrenheit. Let's see about that conversion. What is the temperature? It is high UV now. It doesn't say what temperature it is though. It says it's 92 Fahrenheit, so let's see what that is Celsius. 43.3 repeating Celsius. So pretty darn hot. So I want to keep hydrated too. We're gonna do our best. I filled up the jerry can again, so we're gonna be able to drink a couple of these, and then we'll go and grab some Gatorade to replenish the salts. I knew when I was like fall is here the other day, when it was like in the low 70s and the 60s, that I was speaking too soon. That is a lie. Yeah. It is pretty darn toasty in here today. I do have the advantage that today we are using the mailbox. And because we're using the mailbox, it doesn't generate as much ambient heat. So it shouldn't be terrible overall, I guess. All right, I am going to check this camera to make sure. Oh, I already did that apparently. Sometimes I'm a smart lady and sometimes I'm not. Apparently I already hit record on my close-up cam, so you guys should be able to see that when it's time to start making a nail. So like I said, we are going to start making some larger nails. So because if it's really hard to make small nails, then scaling up is going to make it a little bit easier. Maybe not a lot easier, but a little easier. One other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I did actually update the outro. However, I still have to download it from YouTube onto my laptop. So right now it is on YouTube's cloud. It is also on my desktop, but it's not on my laptop yet. So I apologize. I will get that on there for Monday. We got a few new subscribers and I want to thank you guys for that. So I need to make sure that I change the outro out for Monday's stream. You about to nail it? I am about to nail it. I got my nail station all set up. We've got a hot cut hardy, which we made. We started it last week and we finished it on Wednesday. So it's kind of a little bit rusty still. I have to, clean it up and make it nice and pretty, but it's functional right now. And so we are going to use that and our lovely nail header here. I did actually countersink our holes a little bit, so it should make it a little bit easier to get the heads on and off, I guess the nails in and out of this guy. So in theory, we're all nice and set up right in this little section here and right around here. However, there is a chance that this is going to be a little bit too tight. And if that is the case, then I will probably move this guy over here to post vise. And then we'll have a little bit more movement going on. All right. So it looks like we've got plenty of heat. So I'm going to, let's see. I think I want to put it there. That should be a fine place to put it. Let's see what we can do. And I drop my nail header. So it's going to take me a few heats, mostly because I'm still getting used to this. I haven't made too terribly many nails in my time, so as a blacksmith. So my plan is actually to keep the close-up in the corner like that, so you can kind of see me working around. because the heat should come really quickly because this is really small stock. If you would prefer I do the other way, let me know and we'll change it. I will also be changing the angle of the close-up cam periodically, just to give us some variety, both you guys and me, so you guys can see a little bit more of what's going on. But yeah, I'm gonna see how many nails I can make in one day. One stream. Or at least until the battery of my receiver dies. Yes. Hammer and anvil. All right, let's do this. All right. Let's see if we can't size this. It's a little bit crooked, so let's see if I can change that. All right, now we're gonna shape it in here. See how well that worked. All right, not too bad. It'll fit. In the header. You know what? I need to heat this again because it's not gonna make a nice head. So we'll heat this one more time. And then we'll put the nail or the head on the nail. See how it looks. We will assess, and you guys can, critique me and tell me, what you guys think I need to do to make better nails. What's the typical battery life of the receiver? I have streamed on the same receiver for 3 hours solid. I have also, there's always a little bit left on it. So I'm thinking we should be able to get our 2.5 hour stream, especially because I actually have the receiver inside of the charger in hopes that maybe it will continue charging. So it's like, when you're talking on your phone while it's plugged into the wall, that's what I got going right now. How's your new Hardy tool holding up? Working like you intended? Yes, it actually is. It's actually staying pretty sharp, which is kind of incredible. I was not actually expecting the quite as sharp of a blade as I put on it to stay that sharp, but we haven't seen any dulling yet at all. So that's really good. But I'm not terribly surprised because it is A2, and A2 is a very hard air quenching tool steel. Nice. Yes, it's beautiful. It's really nice. All right, let's see. Can we do this? Whoa. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. Oh goodness, guys. Goodness. That was bad. Maybe we don't shoot it across the shop into a pile of coal that fell out of the coal bucket. That might work a little better. All right. So here's our first nail of the day. Let's grab these guys. So not terrible, not the best. I've seen some better looking nails, but I mean, I think it would work. It might crack the wood a little bit though, I think. But there's our first nail of the day. You know what? I should probably find like a little bin to put these nails in. What can I put them in? Do I have anything I can put them in here? I'm gonna put, this is a bucket of water. I'm gonna dunk them in there, and then we'll stick them over here, see how many we've got at the end. All I gotta do, or all I gotta say is I really need to not do the paint water thing. You know, all those painters, the watercolor painters, they're always like, their brush water, they end up drinking it. So I've got, you know, some water there that's quenching water, and I've got my regular water over there at the same time. So I gotta make sure I don't drink my quenched water. Launching your workplace across the shop is a time-honored tradition. It definitely is. And I would have been less concerned, except for I dropped a chunk of coal over there, and I stepped on it, so it's like coal dust, and it was like flaming this high, and it was right next to my light cord, so I didn't want to, you know, melt the cabling for my light. Iron fortified water. That's exactly what it would be. Hey Boston, welcome to the stream. We are making some nails. Alright, I'm going to heat this up again, and our next heat, we're going to do the full rest of it, I think. If I look at this, oh, it needs a little bit more, it needs to be tapered just a little more. Hopefully it only takes one more heat, maybe it'll take 2 more heats. As I go, it'll get a little bit faster. I've seen people do single heat nails, can get frustrating fast. It definitely can. And the goal is to get there, but I think that I need to make, these are my first few nails. I made about 6 nails on Wednesday, but they were really, really small. I made them out of this piece of stock right here, and it's like super, super small. So if you want to see those, these are the nails that we made on Wednesday. Not so great, but these were my first few nails. I lost 2 of them. And so I decided to go a little bit bigger this time. On my header, there is a long handle that helps you bend, break, or score the line made on the parting tool. See, that's the that's the goal. I gave myself a nice handle. I mean, it's not a long handle necessarily, but it should be, you know, helping me score the line that I make off of the hot cut. That's the goal anyway. All right. And again, I dropped it. floor. Let's see if I can make a nail or a head on this anyway. There's a tiny bit of a head, not a big head. I want to make sure that I get a little bit more on there for our next one. It's also a lot shorter than the previous one. So I have an idea on how to fix that. Oh, is there a bot? Thank you guys so much for deleting the bot. Going through really old construction around the farm, there's very few iron nails, but the supports that held the chimney had some 12-inch monster ones. I'll bet. So yeah, my partner said that they had never seen nails that were hand blacksmithed that were under an inch in length. So I was trying to make really, really teeny ones. So I decided that we're gonna do some longer ones. All right. So if I put this line here on the face of the anvil, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. But what that's gonna tell me is how long I want the taper to be, so that I can make the same consistent nail size. Theoretically, anyway. It was addressed. Thank you, Ping. You are awesome. See if I can't move the anvil a little bit. That means I also have to address the camera since, you know, the focus is going to be all screwy. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is we are going to move the camera. I apologize for all of the weird movement in the corner. Alright. Now we've got a different angle. We're focusing primarily on the hot cut and the nail header right now. We'll do a little bit of focusing in here on the face of the anvil at some point. I want you guys to be able to see a close-up of each of the processes. So we'll be moving the camera around throughout the screen. The little ones may well be brads. I mean, they might be brads. But I don't know. I guess when I was thinking nails, I was thinking about the little ones that I get at the store. But those are manufactured. So, you know, it's definitely not what you would get, you know, at the hardware store if you're, you know, hand forging them. Another thing that I've noticed on those previous nails is they don't have a really nice sharp point. So it's going to be harder to nail them into a board or a wall. We're going to heat that. It's taken me a while to kind of get this. What if we change hammers? We'll get more force out of a bigger hammer. We're doing bigger nails, so more force. It's right there. Oh, I lost my mark. Yeah, everything would have used nails that small was plugged instead. I can imagine. But I also kind of want to make nails that are useful for me. So yeah. Well, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. I think that head's going to be a little bit too big. Well, that was dumb. Okay. Well, that's got a much more head-like head on it. Right there. Still not entirely happy with it. But practice makes perfect. We've got an ad starting here shortly, but I'm going to see if I can't make another nail in that amount of time. Probably not, but you never know, right? Heat this back up again. But yeah, we're going to be making nails all day today. We have currently made 3 so far. Like I said, that one's not terrible. It's got a nice head on it. This one is a little on the short side. That one has a very weird head. It's kind of off kilter. Well, that didn't work. Didn't work so hot. I didn't get much of a head on that one. So there's that one. So I think that we are going to have to give ourselves a little bit of a, or allow ourselves to have a little bit of a more of a knob at the top. I'm going to change the angle on the camera again. That's a little better. Oh, my thingy is in the middle of the screen. Let's see if I can do it that way. Is that a little better? That'll be fine. The camera's in the frame now. See, I see that now. I'm trying to deal with it. Is that better? No, that's not better because the lens is in the frame now. I don't know. That's better. All right. Let's do another heat. If I'm actually gonna get any single heat nails until I start using the smaller piece. I do not consider it a problem for the stream, but you want clean footage for YouTube. That is definitely true. However, I do actually record in 4K on the cameras, or it's 2K on the cameras is what I do. So I can actually punch in a little bit and get rid of the cord if I need to, as long as it's not like really into the shot. But I definitely appreciate letting me know that. So I don't know, guys. Do you think I'll be able to do one heat nails by the end of the stream? Or you think I'm gonna need more practice? I think I might actually need more practice. This is not as easy as I, thought it would be. Doing 100 nails is definitely a basic blacksmithing project that I'm gonna start recommending for people. It takes a lot of precision heats and hammer blows, and you kind of got to work fast, Not leaving them fat enough. Not getting very good heads. You can kind of see how weird the heads are looking. So I think I need to leave myself a little bit of extra material at that top. Getting good halos on nails is hard. They always want to slide away in one direction. Yes, they definitely do. I'm learning that. So I bought this stick of steel at my local hardware store because they've had a lot of like sticks of steel for a really long time, and steel has been shooting up in price recently, and so I was afraid that if I went to my steel supplier it would be super expensive. Honestly, you see that on antique nails that were actually used as well. I'm sure. Need a little bit more heat on that, I think. Retail steel is up, but recyclers aren't paying more. Something is broken in the system. Well, part of it is because certain parties have been increasing the price of exports and imports, primarily imports. And a lot of our steel is actually imported from other countries, but recycled steel does not have that import taxation on it, and so they don't feel like they need to pay you for the extra for that extra when you bring your steel and your other like copper and things to the recycler. Most steel suppliers are going to actually charge you the commodity rate regardless of how much they paid for the steel. Well, now I think I left myself way too much at that top. Kind of an ugly head. So we've got a really fatty head. I can probably chop that off and make a decent nail on it, but that's a really fatty head. Part rivet, part nail. You invented a new fastener. Maybe. Maybe you could switch to the close-up for the next one. Okay, I can do that. Let's flip them. Move that over there. Trying to see how far I can get before I have to reheat. Hey, Christy. Welcome to the stream. I have made 6 nails. A couple of them have some really large heads, though. Not bad, though. I have a thing. This is a sterling silver plated cup. So I'm going to start putting all the nails inside of there. That way we can keep track of them and they don't start rolling all over the place. All right. All right. I'm going to have to, oh, I made that really like weird. We're going to get another really fatty head. And I need to change my propane tank. Turn that off real fast because I got no propane left in there. All right, here's my next nail. Not the prettiest thing in the world. We're getting there though. All right, I need to change my propane. I'm sorry, guys. That was not bad. Should work. Normally I don't run out of propane on the mailbox. Move that one over there. this right here. All right, I'm gonna change the angle on the camera while I'm here, while I'm moving things around again. Or maybe, okay, there we go. Huh. I hit the wrong button. May need to pan right on the close-up camera. The nail header is slightly out of frame. I completely changed the camera angle just for the heck of it. So that'll definitely change. I think, you know, we were on the same wavelength. But like I said, I'm trying to vary up the angle so you guys can see things a little bit easier. Hey, El Teller. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us today. We are making nails. I have about 7 made right now. And we've been streaming for about an hour. So, I mean, that's a really, really cheap hour, you know. If I made 7 nails in an hour. So, in order to get minimum wage, which is in this area is $15 an hour, you know, that's just under like I guess it's just over $2 a nail. That's a really expensive nail. Really expensive nails. And I mean, I feel like hand forged nails should be a little bit expensive, but definitely not a little over $2 a nail. Even less. You didn't start making them until about 15 minutes in. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe they are a little bit cheaper. Whoops. Keep on doing that. Still some pricey nails. They are definitely pricey nails. I definitely don't think I would want to charge that much for them. I think my only solution is to get so good that I can do them in like next to no time. So right now, I can't even do a nail in a minute. But I also feel like I'm making really big nails. So I don't know. J Nails Smithy, yes. Nail Smithy. We're just making nails today. Only nails. Maybe get fancy with holding 3 rods at a time or something. I did consider we might, at some point in the near future, toss this rod in there too. And then we'll do 2 at the same time. This one will be a smaller nail than the other one, because I was only able to get one of these rods from the hardware store. That one's not bad. We're getting better at this. Check that out. It actually has a proper head and everything. Not terrible. Focus is a bit close again. It's perfect for the last step, but a bit off at the beginning. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit off at the beginning when I am doing the tapering, because I did focus specifically on the nail header. So I will change the focus periodically, just because I have a really shallow plane of focus on this lens. See if I can't change it a little bit. That should shift the focus a little bit. Ray has a whiteboard. Now if only we could read it. I'm sorry, you guys can't read it? See, I can't read it either. As discussed, you could close the aperture a bit to increase the depth of field. Yeah. I'm a little afraid to do that though. What focal length does the lens have? Honestly, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'm sure it's like written on here somewhere. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Is it? I cannot see like what depth of field it is, or I mean what the focal length is. I think it might be on the bottom. See if I can finish this nail before that ad starts. Not too bad. We got a head there. It's a little small of a head, but it's a head. Did I make it? I did make it. Yay! Multiple cameras, please specify. The reason, Sandwich is asking about the close-up camera, the focal length on that lens. I honestly have no idea what it is, and I can't find the little where it's marked. I think it's underneath of where I have it, like, on the lens. My partner knows, I just don't. Those are looking better than my nails. Well, thanks for the compliment. They're still not going to be amazingly fun to nail into the wall over there, I don't think. All right. I need more water. Ray's partner is the techie and the camera expert. Yes, this is totally the case. I took photography when I was in college, but I only took one semester. And all we did was, or like the entire class, I only used a nifty 50. So I didn't really have to worry too much about focal length. Or aperture. And we were using like old school black and white film. Oh. And so it was a fun class, but it was like forever ago and I've forgotten most of what I learned. You could probably sharpen them with a grinder or a file. Yes, I definitely could. So I'm going to do another nail I'm going to start another nail once we get done with our ads. When I was in college, an M2 or a 2MP digital camera was considered great. Oh, 2 megapixel. Yeah. I think when I went to college, an 8 megapixel digital camera was amazing. Which is why we used film cameras. We also had one of the grad students, who was specifically a photography grad student. She actually used a large format camera, and the camera that she was using was actually designed to take billboard photos, or photos for billboards. And yeah, it was a digital camera, but 8 megapixels was great back then. Now it's we have more megapixels than film grains in a traditional film camera. So, you know. All right, let's do another nail. dropping my header. Film 1 megapixel, 5 megapixel, 10 megapixel, then megapixel just became a number, 35. Film was around 15. I actually do not even own a 55 millimeter lens. Not my focal length. I like portraits at 135 millimeters. I mean, that makes sense. But yeah, we just use nifty 50s. It was a relatively standard focal length. All right, let's finish this nail up. Gotta attach a chain or a string to it so it doesn't fall on the floor. I mean, yeah. Definitely. Whoopsie. I gotta attach a chain to the nails so that they don't fly off. Not too bad. I think I'm getting better at this. Still taking me 2 heats, which is far too long. Keep your distance from them any nearer and they are too peoply. It is a standard focal length. They say it kind of resembles a natural field of view. In spite of, or because of that, I find it a tad bit boring. Ultra wide angle can be cool. A very fast 35 millimeter is a nice toy, and 100 millimeter and up. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of different lenses, and I'm sure you guys have seen several different ones that my partner has put on the cameras when they pan around and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I'm not amazingly good with them. I use the lenses that my partner put on the cameras, and I'm happy with them. Ray is getting better, and now better than most people, but recognizes she needs to improve, and this is why we follow. See, I don't claim to be a master blacksmith, like, at all. All right, we're gonna change the angle again. We're gonna go over towards this direction a little bit. I'm gonna open this door a little further. This. I'm hoping that splits the difference. I mean, you can never make a perfect nail, right? You just gotta keep on keeping on, making more and more nails. And the better you get, you know? Not a master, but working on it. It's the getting there why we watch. Yes. See, that's the goal. I've done it again. I dropped everything this time. Ah! Not the best one I've ever made, but... Oh, come on. Haha. See, that's where a lot of my time is going, trying to get these things out. And, able to be used, right? Out of the nail header. That and you're a fun person. Just give it a little tippy tap around the nail to score it, and then it'll break off in the header. Watch someone who will never be a master is dull. Watching a master is wonderful for a short time. Watching someone trying to slowly become a master is always interesting. Yeah, I try. If you do the whole header with the nail in it, they pop out easier. Oh, if you dip the whole header in, in the water. Okay. That makes some sense. Thanks for that advice. I appreciate it. This is like my second attempt at, like, you know, making nails. We made like 6 of them on Wednesday, and that was my first attempt. I try, and that is why. All right. Let's remember to change my cameras. Trying to rip these off at a point where I'm not gonna like get myself. Pretty challenging. OMG, that worked so beautifully. Wow, guys. This is why I love having people who have done this in chat. There's a little bit of scale on that one, but overall, we're getting a little better. There were 6 gross and 4 net. Yes, 6 gross and 4 net nails on Wednesday. Because I still have no idea where those 2 went. Gross nails versus net nails and a few bits of metal. Exactly. Let's take some of the scale off of here so it doesn't end up on my nails. 1 heat, guys. I made it. Ugh. What do you guys think? A 1 heat nail. Not bad, not bad. Fancy pudding, very cool. What kind of nails? The pointy ones with a head. For construction hooves or... honestly, they're just the shape of nails. I'm trying to replace all the nails that are up here on the project wall with handmade nails. So they're not amazingly like good for horseshoeing necessarily. They're also probably not the best for construction because I'm terrible at making them so far, but I'm trying, I'm learning, I'm getting better as I go. I guess they'd be considered general purpose back in the olden days, yes. Nails for being nails. What kind of material are you working with? I am working with 1019, which is colloquially called mild steel. This piece here is a 5/16 diameter piece of cold roll that I bought at the hardware store because I thought it would be cheaper buying it at the hardware store than at the steel supply store. And at I have a bunch of this kind of stock, which is an 1/8 inch, and it was a little bit too small for when we were making nails on Wednesday. So I made a quick stop. All right, let's see if I can do another one in 1 heat, guys. Have you tried using recycled materials at all? For steel isn't a seal. I have actually used recycled materials before. But I like to use known metal. For me personally. And it makes my partner feel better knowing that I'm using known metals. It would help if I actually hit that on the right, or like right on the edge. Oh, and it fell out of the header. Look at that! It has sort of a rounded head-ish. Recycled often means you don't know what the composition is, and some are interesting to lethal. Car parts, I have heard, can be good use, or forged to good use. Yes! So there actually is a method, or like there's a sheet out there that you can find online that will actually tell you exactly what is in car parts and common tools as far as the tool steels that they're made of. And that allows you to kind of know how to heat treat and temper whatever you're making with it. But if it's not on that list, I won't touch it. I do have a lot of recycled steels that I have just laying around places. Like I have a truck axle that is underneath of my computer cart. I made this sword over here. It's a rapier. I never put the handle on, but this is just the blade. This was actually made out of a shock spring for a truck. So, I mean, I have used it, but it's always stuff that I know is on that list. That way, it makes it a lot easier for me to treat it and make sure that it's not going to snap on me. Wahoo, yeah. Fancy Pudding, thank you so much for that follow. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to change our angle on the close-up camera again, just because I enjoy doing that. We're actually going to go and cross, and oh no. Hopefully this doesn't screw anything up. It shouldn't. It's a laptop. It has a self-contained battery. There we go. That makes it easier to cross it over this way. Oh, come on. There we go. So you can probably see the camera. Maybe you can't. I don't know. My name is Ray. Butter Sparter. You stole my propane. Prepare to die. Yes. A blade. A sword designed for piercing. It is actually a rapier blade. I made it for SCA combat for my partner. I love art involving fire. I do lamp work, so I use a torch to make beads and pendants and stuff. That is awesome. I took a glass blowing class for a semester in college. It was so much fun, but it is so much work. Can I interest you in a dragons? I'm a fae. All right, we're gonna do another nail. Oh no! My hammer is off balance in my hand. This is why I hate long handles on my hammers. Oh, you know, it's really hard to maintain a good hammer rhythm when you're laughing. Less good head than the last few. But it's something. Not too bad. You know what? I think I showed that to you guys. Where my inset is. So there's the nail right there. Or wait, that's not the nail. That's not the one. I don't know what I did with it. Is it that one? I don't know. It's gotta be that one because that one is wet. So, no. You know what? I'm gonna show you guys all the nails later. Blood has some irons. You can theoretically make a sword with blood. Just don't tell vampires. They will cry. Okay, Bloodbender. A sword made from the blood of your enemies. Should I call you Magneto? I hate long-handled hammers, only likes Mjolnir, the famously short-handled hammer. North Goddess is showing. Nail confetti. Yes, I have some nail confetti going on right now. We've got quite a few nails. Here, let me show you how many we've amassed. We've amassed quite a few of them. If you guys can see that. I will count them at the end of the stream if I don't lose any. Oh no, guys. I'm not used to how this hammer sits in my hand, so I'm actually starting to get a blister. Oh, that's going to be a really, really long... Let me heat that back up. I'll do a second heat on it. It would be funny if you make a nail with a nail on it. A finger style nail. This finger, these fingers. Nails and nails. I'm gonna switch hammers again. Switch to one that I actually have calluses for. What did the five fingers say to the face? Slap. At least you haven't broken a nail yet. I mean, time will tell if I break a nail or not. So we've got an ad coming up in about a minute and a half. Let's see if I can do a nail before the ad. Or finish this nail, I guess. It's still a little bit tight in there. There's also a chance that I will definitely, you know, hammer my finger, and that would also make me lose a nail. Or that could also make me lose a nail. So here's my next nail. Not terrible, not the best. Gotta set up our anvil space. Do you have good ventilation in the room that I'm in? Oh yeah, I have a garage door clean open, and then I also have a door over here that is also open, so I have some lovely cross ventilation going on. But yeah, this is a one-car garage, and my garage door is all the way up. So yes, much good ventilation. I have no nails. I bite them. It's a terrible habit to have. Ray has very short nails, like everyone who works with their hands. Respect. That's a lie, guys. That's a lie. Check out these lovely long nails. I mean, you know, look at that whiteness. You know, I've got long nails. I do my work in my garage as well, where I have good ventilation. Yeah. I do my best to make sure that I stay hydrated, have my hearing and eye protection as well as my apron, and good ventilation and hydration. Once this ad is done, I will do another heat with another nail. We'll make another nail. See, I'm used to saying another heat, but it's really another nail because we've been making a lot of things today, not just the same thing, like a single thing. Hey, Jack. You probably can't even see me because I'm in ad times. So once the ad is done, I'll say hi again. Ad time, ad time. How long have we been going? Also, I'm gonna check out, ooh, that's exciting. My ad break is over. Hey Jack, welcome in. I am practicing nails. I'm really terrible at it, but I'm trying really hard. My face is red. I stand corrected. Prince, you got the look. You know, I do. I have long nails. Honestly, the only reason I have long nails is because it is a habit. Or I have really strong, thick nails. And before I became a blacksmith, I actually had to have help cutting them. And so now that I am, you know, someone who works with that, I would cut them off. But when I was a jeweler, I started filing little grooves so I could hold tiny little pieces of like, you know, earring posts and things with them. And then when I was done, I'd cut them off. But I never put grooves in them anymore. All right, I'm gonna change the angle on the camera again. You need a TTS that reads the messages for you. I don't have that specifically because I actually make a lot of my videos. I do them for YouTube. And the TTS would get very distracting. Because my cameras would actually hear it. Because really I stream specifically for, or to make YouTube videos. There we go. I need to actually magnify my screen again. Because I'm starting to get sweaty, and so my eyes are like fogging up my lenses, so I'm having to like really look hard to read you guys' messages. Wow, that is actually impressive. I'm not gonna lie, the blade on the hot cut is still sharp. Ah, okay, interesting. I do this thing when I record through OBS to turn off the desktop audio to remove music from my videos. I am barely proficient with OBS, to be quite honest. So I do the bare minimum. through OBS. I'm gonna reheat this one. I think I was having better luck with my other hammer. So I think we're gonna go back to the other one. The handle of this guy has started cracking in the eye, and so it moves up and down, and I lose some of that force with this guy. I like the length of this handle a lot better, and I can fit my hand around it a little bit better, but it doesn't help when the head flies off. It will cut, it will. But with in real life sound, that would be hard to make it stop that, yeah. Cut thing is still cutting, that'll do, yes. Like I said, this is A2, or A2 is the steel that we use to cut this, and I would have burned myself, but it's not actually that hot. You should not do that. I should have burned myself. I don't know how I didn't, by pulling that out of the Hardy. Anyway, it's A2, so it's a really, really hard steel. It's an air cooling steel. And it just maintains a really nice edge. Come back, head. Did I lose my head? But yeah, so this whole block here is A2, and I am probably going to make a axe eye drift out of it shortly. Within the next couple weeks. I haven't decided what next project is going to be yet. Do you guys have anything that you guys would like to make? I still want to make the axe, but if you guys want to see something other than a drift, because it wasn't that long ago that I made the first drift, do let me know. It's also a real bastard to forge. It definitely is. Mjolnir famously has a short handle. Are you really sure you're not a dwarf maiden? I might be a Valkyrie. A stake flipper. I could do a stake flipper. That would be pretty easy. If you try to make it quickly, is there a drift race? Exactly. I swear I'm hitting this. Why isn't it moving? I know. A2 is so bad about that. But if you keep it really, really hot, it does that a lot less. Hey, we're starting to get shorter. Where did they go? It's right there. Oh, that head is nasty. I bent it over instead of making a head out of it. Whoops, I dropped it. That's why I have these tongs. Oh, come on. Pick it up. Our next nail. Isn't that ugly? Ray, I don't usually say things, but could I make a suggestion? Yeah. I lost some stuffies. Give me a second. I lost some of your comments. You could try making yourself some fun custom forge tools. That would be fun. Jackhammer Bit pretty much laughed at my old railroad track anvil. I know it may be hot, but it would be extremely... make a recommendation to remove the hot cut if you're going to do a nail header back there. I know a few people who have lost fingers from a bad hammer blow. I am actually keeping my hand relatively off of the center of the anvil. I totally get that though. I was a little concerned about that. I mean, we can go and do this. That means that I'll have to move the thingy again. Or the camera on the close-up so you guys can see me, you know, cutting the nails. It's your life, live as you wish. I just can go surprisingly wrong, so I wanted to recommend. Good thinking, Jack. Better to be safe than fingerless. Yeah. I was a little bit concerned about that, like immediately when I, you know, first started. But I have this weird habit of hammering at a 45-degree angle from the face of the anvil. So I'm a little bit safer than you might expect. But I mean, you know, if it makes you guys feel better, it makes me feel better a little bit at least. I can do it. What time is it, guys? I have no idea. We have been streaming for an hour and 48 minutes. It's 3:50. I mean, yes, Corwin, it actually is 3:50. But it is 4:50 Eastern. Steel is a renewable resource. Fingers are not. Yes. Fingers are not replaceable. At least not very replaceable, you know. All right, let's try this direction, or this way. Things might be a little more discombobulated, but we're gonna try it anyway. Let's try this the safe way. Isn't that a grocery store, guys? Safeway? Probably not for everybody, but I think there's a Safeway around here that's a grocery store. I'm not gonna lie though, Jack. I was actually hoping that you had a good piece of advice for me to make better nails. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. That's even more dangerous. Alright, I'm gonna heat this back up. Oh, goodness gracious. It's too high in the post vise. That was scary. So we're going to put this back here, and I'm going to make sure that I keep my elbow in-ish. I recommend rotating the bar between the hammer blows on the hot cut. It will create a triangle-shaped taper toward the top, so the nail, or of the nail, so then you can hit it from above and it will swell out. Ah, see, that's what I was looking for. The more centralized the separation from the bar, the easier it is to keep the head evenly spaced. Awesome. This is why I try to keep away from big saws with firecrackers. I'm a really bad piano player with 10 fingers already. See, that's what I was hoping for from you, Jack, when you said you wanted to give me advice. I mean, not that moving the hot cut was bad advice. It was definitely really good advice. However, I was hoping for, you know, a little bit. All right. Knew a guy who went to my church who cut off both of his fingers in. Why is that auto? Oh. In this case, I'm gonna allow it. In that case, that is not the implication there. I try not to, but in people's process unless asked, because it makes me seem like a know-it-all. Yes, but I know you, Jack, and you aren't a know-it-all, but you have a lot of really good advice. I need to taper all of these nails a little bit better. They're starting to get fat again. My heads. That one was nasty. I don't like that nail. But I am going to call it done for the moment. Yeah, I don't like this nail. This nail is icky. Like I said, I need to work harder on the tapers. That way we can make them a little bit longer and the head's a little bit shorter. Whoops, that was not what I was supposed to put it in. You guys are fine. I appreciate the thought, though. There are a lot of people that I am less appreciative of on the YouTubes sometimes. I tend to do a different method of tapering. What method of tapering do you use? I mean, I guess I could taper over the horn, or I could taper over the edge of the anvil. That would make it a little bit faster to taper. It's just, when I learned to taper, that's how I learned. Come on, being a smartass once in a while is just good manners in a Twitch chat. Icky, the technical term meaning not quite perfect. Exactly, that's what that is. Icky. So yeah, I mean, as long as you ask if you can give me some advice, I will, and I say yes, I am, you know, feel free, you know? And that's why I appreciate you, Jack. You always ask before you give me advice. And I mean, there are probably times where I would be less appreciative of it if I'm like already frustrated, or if things aren't working the way I want them to. Then it gets a little bit more frustrated. I'm a little less receptive, but probably more in need of advice. I do it over the edge because the thinness of the bar causes you to lose heat very quickly off the edge. Tapering will keep your heat in the end of the bar longer from kinetic force of the hammer blows. Makes sense. Helpers are welcome, but mansplainers can leave. Yes. Agreed. Alright, let's do another nail. I'm not very good at tapering over the edge of the anvil. Let's see. Let's see if I can do it anyway. Yeah, that's not amazingly good. I'm probably doing it really, really wrong. I think the only time I've ever actually seen this is like Alex Steele's videos. I've seen him do that, and it never works for me the way I imagined that it would. So, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm starting to slow down. I've got some ugly blisters forming on my hands. These are not too bad yet, you know, but it does kind of hurt a little. I hate this hammer. It is not nearly as bad as this guy, though. I mean, look at the corners on this thing. I hate this hammer. I'm just not used to this hammer at all. Not a master, but wannabe. Open to useful advice. Yes. I try to ask with might you or could you, so the choice lies with the responder, and it doesn't sound like an imperative. Yeah. I should do that more. You put it away. Yes. It's such a horrible dead blow. I love dead blow hammers, but I hate that one. I need to buy a new one. Actually, what I need to do is I need to rehandle my favorite hammerhead and then get the calluses that I need off of that one. I think what I want to do is find a good handle for it. I used oak dowel for that thing. Back before I was like really, you know, I didn't know much about blacksmithing, and it was a bad handle. I'm back to the forge now, round 2 of 3. Sanity is not my strong suit. Blued Red Metal, thank you so much for that follow. I greatly appreciate that. We're probably going to be finishing up relatively soon. What time is it again? But I definitely appreciate it. We're at the 2-hour mark. Ray has hammers she likes and doesn't. The one she likes shaved short handles. Could I send you a 30-second video somewhere? For later is fine. Yeah. The best place to send a video is either to PM it to me over Discord, or you can toss it in my channel. Or, you know, I'm in your channel, so you could put it in your channel and then just ping me on Discord. Either or any of those works. Boston has clipped me again. I DM'd it for whenever. Okay, cool. Boston is the top new clipper. I'll have to look to see what the clip is. All right, let's make another. Oh wait, I'm in the middle of making a nail, apparently. So I am expecting that the video is tapering over the edge of the anvil. That's my guess. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Aha! You were definitely right on that, centering your cut. Much mo better. Not bad, not bad. Not the best head, but It's a new style. I missed that. Hello, always interested in watching your kind of content. I like seeing things change from raw materials into something that can be used or admired. Yes. Discord, then we can applaud or deride you. Or we can applesauce me. Yes. Applesauce me. Or Rickroll me. I like that song. Progress! Yay, progress! We are learning things, you know. That's what we do here on this stream. We learn together. I love that the mailbox is such an efficient forge. Oh, I love that thing. It's made out of a single brick. Stop complaining about that now, guys. I promise. Except I don't. That's a lie. I don't promise not to complain about the handle of this hammer. Oh, you know what? Remember things, Ray. Well, let's just heat this up anyway, or reheat it. Remember things. Remember. It's not November yet, though. Did you ask what I was sending? I had gotten a call. Yeah, I said, actually, I didn't ask what it was. I said I expect that it is like a tutorial on tapering over the edge of an anvil. That was my guess. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I'll take anything, you know? Oh, I remember what I was gonna ask. Do you guys have any idea what the reference in my title is for? I don't expect anybody knows. But I thought it was clever and funny. It's purely demonstration with no words, but I really like the angle I got on the video. I do not. It is a song, actually. It's a drag song. It is a drag song. Yes. I love that song. I love Tiger Call. That is the artist who makes that song, or who did that song several years ago. I'm out of water again. It is always exciting when people get some of my really obscure references. It would be nice if you would dispense water faster. Super hot today. Remember the 5th of November, yes. Do you have a favorite style of hammer that so far that I use? My favorite style of hammer is actually like, you know, the cross peen. I would love to get a hold of an angle peen though. I'm really interested to see if that's better. And we are on ad time, so I'll talk about that more once the ad is over. There's a moth in here flying around. Better than a wasp. Sleepy. But that's all right. We're gonna keep on making some nails, and then I'm gonna take a nap. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm gonna take a shower and then a nap. Depends. The shower, yes. The nap, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling after the shower. I think they're still all right. My calluses. I haven't started. I'm at that point before the blisters actually form into blisters, so we should be good. So my favorite hammer is actually a cross peen, like style-wise, as of right now. However, I've really only used a cross peen and a rounding hammer. So I kind of feel like I haven't given enough credence to all of the rest of them. I really want to get a hold of a diagonal peen hammer, because I think for my style of forging, a diagonal peen hammer would actually work a lot better than a cross peen. Like I said, I have a tendency to kind of tuck in my elbows a little bit and hammer at a diagonal. Because I also ride my anvils really high. Ordinarily, they recommend your anvil be about at the bottom of your knuckles if you make this type of fist. As you can see, my anvil is really high in comparison. And the reason is because I am short. And most other blacksmiths that I work with are really tall. So I learned to forge on really tall anvils. So I'm just used to it. I would say hydrate, but you seem to be good at that. See, I try very hard. However, the reason is because I've gotten kidney stones before. That is not a pleasant experience, and I don't ever want to get them again. However, once you do get them, they just come back. It's awful. At the end of the day, what's comfortable for your body without strain is what's important. Yeah, and because I forge this direction, or like at this height, I never fully extend my elbow, so I never have to worry about tennis elbow. Most of the pressure, if I'm not being, if I'm being really, really stupid about it, is in like my wrist and my forearm. And that's usually when I am doing more of a tapping motion as opposed to a full force forging blow. In order to maintain good form and not injure yourself, you really need to use a full body hammer blow. All right, let's do another nail. Corwin's favorite hammer depends on the task. For drawing out, I like a straight cross-peen hammer that I ground out of a 4-pound Harbor Freight hammer. High anvil due to shortness. This explains a lot. For most stuff or planishing, I use my 2-pound cross-peen. Yeah. 2-pound cross-peens are really good size. scale on that. Oh, I made this too long again. I need to be better about tapering these. I keep saying that and then I don't do it. That wasn't too bad though. There's another one. The head kind of got folded a little bit weirdly. Not for today, but if you want them some, I think part of it is keeping an accurate distance from the end of the taper to the hot cut. You can magnet a stop block off the end next time. Scale is not always bad. It depends. If it's hot, it is bad. Yeah, so I did think about that, and I originally had drawn a, I had taken my chalk stone and had actually drawn a stop for myself, and when I was sweeping away my scale, I swept away the line too, so, you know, I think I need like an oil pen next time or something so that I don't sweep it away. I hated that line anyways. Which line? Yeah. I did hate that line anyway. The chalk line. That's why I swept it away, right? Alright. I think I'm gonna do a couple more a couple more nails. I'll probably do 2 or 3 more, and then no, I think I'm gonna do 2 more nails, and then I'm going to pour out all of the nails that I've made, and we're gonna take a look at them, see how many I've made. I'm decisive this time. Today I am decisive. Complaining again about how long the handle on this stupid hammer is. I'm a small person. Blacksmithing equipment is not made for me. That just means I need to make my own blacksmithing equipment. You guys should hold me to that. I'm gonna heat this one more time because I'm being lazy. That's the thing, right? If the blacksmithing equipment isn't made for me, then I need to make it for me. Alright, so I think on Monday, we are going to do a steak turner because that was requested. It should only take 1 day to do a steak turner. However, I am like really bad about judging how long things are going to take me. So it might take a day and a half. So that should give me some time to kind of come up with what I want to do after that. But we will be starting the steak turner on Monday, a new project. We spent all day today doing nails. In the future, I'm not entirely sure exactly when, but we will be doing an entire stream where I am just trying to get 2 pieces of steel to stick together in a forge weld. That's not going to be for a while though. I've got to wait for my partner to get another day off so that he can help me. I never make predictions, and I never will in the future. In the future, I will never make predictions. All right, let's cut this off. Whoa, that's going to be a good one. At least I think it's going to be a good one. I hope it's going to be a good one. That or it's going to go all the way through. You never know, right? Not too bad, not too bad. It's actually got a head on it. Whoops. Dropping nails on the floor. At least these are big enough I can find them. Ooh, I have bad advice for forging welding since I'm being a know-it-all anyway today. I don't make predictions, I make spoilers. Just kidding. Good day, Pyrex. Yeah, I'm not amazingly good at, or like, I know in theory how it's supposed to work, forge welding, but knowing how it works and getting it to actually work are two completely different things. So, I could not get my axe forge welded properly. So I feel like I need to get comfortable with forge welding before I attempt to do another, like, tool steel forge weld. And I mean, there's any number of reasons that it could have been. And I'm pretty sure that the reason, like the main reason, is because my metals were filthy. Enjoyed the nail making the other day. Have a few to do myself at some point. I legitimately believe forge welding becomes much more art than science on a complex level. It definitely is, man. It definitely is. Restoring a vintage hay straw elevator, and I want to use the correct period nails. Ooh. Yeah, so I really am liking this nail header. I made it out of a piece of 1/2-inch plate, and I've got a 1/4-inch hole. I've got I think this is like a 1/8-inch hole, and the 1/8-inch hole is a little bit too small. I don't recommend doing those immediately. But overall, they're not bad. They're turning out a lot better, the bigger ones that I'm making today. I am planning on making one more, and then we're going to take a look at the rest of the nails that I've made today, see how many I was able to make. An important part when forge welding is to account for loss of material in the process. Yeah, and I definitely did, right? But I didn't account for it enough, especially with the bit that I was trying to forge weld inside of it. I thought that by upsetting the material thinner and thicker, I would be able to account for it, and it was still way too thin. It burned, it got really filthy, and then the inside of the jacket of the axe got super, super filthy. Like I said, I know in my head how it's supposed to work, but doing it is a different thing. I am definitely getting tired. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Definitely. I missed hitting that head like 4 times. You can see the hammer blows where I missed the nail head. Definitely time to take a break, I think. Alrighty. I'm gonna put this guy over here. That guy can go over there, and we're gonna take a look at some of these nails that I've made. Look at that. That's a decent number of them, right? Not bad, not bad. Pretty impressive for me. Several of the heads are just kind of icky. Some of them are actually pretty good, though. I won't lie. But definitely something I need to continue practicing with. I definitely do not have this process down well enough. And I definitely will be doing some nails to practice. So how many do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 nails. I made 21 nails this stream. You may have had the steel too thin sticking out. The steel bit should ideally be covered and packed before weld. Yes. The only way to be good is to be bad first. Exactly. Have I tested one yet? I have not. So I'm gonna do this first. For a moment. I'm gonna turn off the forge real fast. Just because we're not actually doing any forging right now. And I don't know, which one should I test? I think I want one that actually has a pretty large head so that I don't, you know, which one is my best one? Let me bring this camera over and you guys can help me decide which one is the best one. I'm going to try and be a little bit on the slow side. So that you guys don't get seasick from this. That's good. Okay. Now I got to brace myself. I'm going to do that because I'm going to put this on the tripod again so that I can actually pay attention to them. Actually, I can do this. And I know that this is totally inside of the wide camera. You can definitely see it. But that's alright, because really I just want you guys to see the nails sitting on top of the thing. And I'm gonna do that. Alright, guys. You may need to drill 21 pilots to not split the wood. Yes. Was that a musical joke? Very good. Yeah, they are definitely very, very blunt. Definitely blunt. I agree with you, Corwin. Taking a look at which one's the sharpest, I think it's this one right here. The head is kind of nasty, so it's probably not going to do me any favors. But what we're going to do is we're going to hammer it up on the project wall. This is definitely not the first nail that we made together, but I think it'll be all right. Push that back a little bit. All right. Let's put this right here. Ah! Haha! It went in to the wall. That's pretty impressive. I did not think that it would go in. What do you guys think? A nail in the middle of the project wall. So we did nails together. It was very low-hanging fruit. You did well. To the window, to the wall, yes. I think you nailed it. Till Ray hammers them all, or in them all. All in the blacksmith wall. Yes, exactly. That's where it's at. More music. Puns. Alright. So I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming on this journey with me. I'm actually very impressed by how many I was able to make. I was also able to do a couple in one heat, which is also a surprise to me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys have anything, or not anything, anyone you would like to raid, please do let me know. Otherwise, I'll find some friends. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend yourselves. I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining me in this stream. Alright. As every Friday, Courtney Vazier is making music. Take care of your hands. Yeah. Stay away from Tiger Balm. I don't know that I've ever used Tiger Balm. I think I am spelling that wrong. Alrighty guys, we're gonna go to Courtney Vizier, because that is who Sandwich has requested. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday.
I am a subscriber.
Okay, now I need to stop my stream.